come in. There we are. Yes. How do y'all like our new intro music? We are, I had a infamous local 757 guitar jammer, the best guitarist to ever come out of the 757. That we are going to start off with our first trivia question. Who is the baddest guitarist to come out of the 757? I will tell you, he's a good friend of mine. We've been friends since 6th grade. So I'll give you a couple hints. We went to St. Pius X on Little Creek Road together. And I believe he is a Lake Taylor graduate. And very, very involved. Family's definitely been on the radio a lot. But this guy is, like I said, the first time I ever heard him play, the hair on the back of my neck went up. I mean, he started ripping chords. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I could play guitar. I played guitar for about 5 years, but he plays the guitar. Like, it is actually part of his arms. Like, I think he is connected to that. So anybody that knows who I'm talking about, definitely call in and take a shot at the first trivia question. This is Chuck Worley with Worley's Home Services. I'm the host and founder of the 757 House Whisperer show that we started for the 757 homeowners to give them an opportunity to learn about your house. Houses talk to me. I have been doing this since, gosh, I mean, Mike, you're longer in the tooth than me, but I've been doing this a minute. Probably, when were you born there, Damien?
85.
Yeah, all right. I was still in high school then. But 87, I was out and then went to the apprentice school at the shipyard and learned heating and air. So really started getting into the building science of a house and how houses are a system and they all work together. There's really a neat thing about the house is that one thing leads to another. There's a reason that a house is built the way that it is built. Now, other than Mike and a few other people that I know, a lot of people build them wrong. But that puts me in a career that I can go around and fix these houses. But, hey, call in 757-627-7979. 757-627-7979. Call in. We got a couple other trivia questions for you that I'm going to be giving out. But the first one is, who is the baddest 757 guitarist to come out of the 757? My second trivia question is, what is the first gaming system that you could actually play on your TV? That is the question. The first gaming system. You know what? You might be right.
I know I am.
I'm
older
I
than
think
you.
I'm wrong.
Well, that might.
Anyway, we got call in 757-627-7979. No way you know what that is.
Yeah,
You're too young.
That's just a game on the system. That's not the system. That's a game on the system.
That is true. Okay.
That's
So
something
that's
I'm-
not what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys know that I'm 55. Mike's like 107. How old are you now? 72.
70.
So all of our trivia questions typically are like 80s, which we all know the best music on the planet came out of the 80s.
I don't
So
know about that.
come
I
on.
think that, yeah.
No, you talking? I know you love the
70s is
Beatles.
good.
What do you love the Beatles?
No,
What's
they were
happening?
my favorite.
What's
Maybe
happening
my
right
wife,
now?
but not me.
Hey, I just want to introduce everybody on our show. Tonight it's just me and Mike Davenport with CVP Custom Vinyl Products. He is your window expert. You got any questions on Windows? This guy's been doing Windows longer than Damien's been alive.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you weren't in high school in 85 when he was born.
No, I was done.
You were done?
Yeah.
Were you out of college?
4 years at Virginia Tech.
Oh,
done.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So then we got Tommy Hines, the Perfect Home Remedy guy. He's our money guy for helping you guys get, $10,000 for $60 a month. The guy's a beast on trying to help people find money. So, and then we have Justin with Pyramid Roofing. Any roofing needs, slate, agriculture, slate. I mean, he is a beast. A very educated guy on roofing. So, Albin with Albin Homes, Albin Co. Any type of new construction or home remodeling. He is our guy for answers. But tonight we're going to specialize in windows and heating and air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, any types of problems in your house with those types of issues. We would like to answer your questions. Now, remember, the biggest reason that I started this show and I came up with these partners was to be able to answer questions. By me answering one question, the people that are listening, I mean, you're going to help hundreds, I mean, it could be thousands of people with the same type of question. Maybe not the exact question you ask, but people leading down to, they don't know what to ask sometimes. People just don't know what to ask. Yeah, I'm having this problem with my attic. It's not ventilating or it's too hot in my attic. But someone calls in and says, hey, I got this attic fan. They're like, oh, yeah, I forgot there was an attic fan in there. So it helps other people by you guys calling in and asking questions about your house. This show was made and brought to you by us to help you learn about your house. If we're not helping people learn about their house, there's the show really, I mean,
the important thing is when you call in, other people are listening. They're a little bit shy. They don't call in. It's a little bit weird when you first go on the radio. And you were
weird way before you came on the radio.
Well, that's true.
You were
but it's
weird.
never been certified. They need a little kick to get their question out there so we can help everyone. And like Chuck said, we can cover it from footing through the roof, through the walls, after market stuff that'll help make your house better. Chuck adds insulation. He encapsulates crawl space. He does
Spray
system
foam.
change-outs, does spray foam, all of these things that'll make your house better. And I know I've had him do system replacements in both up and down in my house. I encapsulated my crawl space, and all those made a huge difference in the quality of life. When you come to that, you can add new windows, new doors. The Custom Vinyl Products, we're right here in coastal Virginia. We are a local manufacturer. We're not local to out of state. We're local to here, right here in coastal Virginia. We make the windows to fit the opening in your home. We use all people that work for us to do the installs. There's no subcontractors. You deal with the people directly with the company. So we want to get a phone call from you. It looks like we got a couple of people calling in.
Focus on that. When he says coastal Virginia, I mean, it is literally in Newport News, Virginia. They build the entire window here locally. So not only are you having installers from the peninsula, from the 757, but you're actually having people build the actual window. They're not coming from China. They're not coming out cheapest labor that somebody can find in another country and having it shipped here and, oh, no, it's wrong. It's literally in Newport News. I think that's the biggest value of CVP Custom Vinyl Products is that they are, I mean, they're in our backyard. If there's a problem,
right here.
You can literally drive to Newport News and knock on the door and say, hey, I got a problem.
When we took this company over, my partner and I, Barry Taylor, and he's well known in the supply business, and he started that company, and we bought it from the company he started it with. And I've always had a philosophy that we want to do the right thing by the customer. Same thing that Chuck does, same thing Alvin does, same thing that Justin does. We want to do the right thing by the customer. We always go back if there's an issue because you can't do anything. There's not a possibility of an issue. So with that said, why don't you pick up on the first person wanting to do a trivia response, Chuck?
All right, let's say Bill from Chesapeake.
Hey, Bill.
Hello.
Am I on the radio?
You are on the radio, so don't say any bad words.
No, my guess was Mark Dunn.
Well, sir, can you tell? I mean, can you hear his riffs?
Yes.
The man is a genius with the guitar. I mean, he is a monster on our guitar. So, yes, sir. Good friend of mine for, I mean, gosh, it's hard to believe it's been a long time since sixth grade, but over 30 years. So what teed you off? Was it St. Pius? Did you go there?
No. I think I heard somewhere he went to a Catholic school, and he played at Catholic high school one time. I heard him up there.
He did. I was there. My sister was there. He played with Anthony Rosano. Yeah. So they did a couple riffs, and I'm telling you, those are two talented guys, man. They are just amazing. Well, I was hoping to trick some people for a while, but man, yes, he is awesome. I love me some Mark Dunn, but I told him what I was thinking, and he's like, man, just let me do this. So at like 3 a.m. one day, I get something in my Dropbox, and he's like, hey, I went into the other room, I came back, picked up my guitar, and here you go. I'm like, really? So, well, give me a couple of them. So I had a couple of them. They riffed out for me, and the one that he picked off at 3 o'clock in the morning in 20 seconds was the one that I picked. And we actually had a vote, and most people voted for this one, man. So, yeah, thank you. So you live in Chesapeake. Do you have any questions about your house?
No, I'm an amateur blues player, so I only know 3 chords.
So you play bass?
Yeah, you play bass.
No.
Well, thank you, Bill. We're going to go to Alan over in Virginia Beach.
Yep.
Hello, Mr. Allen.
Yes, hello.
You are live on the radio.
Hello there.
Hello. What's your so you got a answer to our trivia question?
I do, an Atari system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you were talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the actual
Game.
Yeah.
The game was Pong.
Yeah.
That's what I
That's
said, man.
it. Yeah.
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
61.
Oh,
Okay,
you're quite a bit
okay.
younger than me, but you remember it. You
You're
were
a bit-
like 10 or 11.
I think I still have it.
Oh, that's funny.
And
That's
Alan,
funny.
what was your favorite game? We know you remember.
It was Pong. That was my
Okay.
favorite game.
That's awesome. So you got any questions about your house?
I actually don't.
Okay, that's fine. Well, just keep listening to us. If you got any questions about your house, definitely tune in because we can help you.
Any pitfalls
Absolutely.
or
Any favorite contractor story nightmares?
No, no. The pitfall was a pun with the was one of the Atari
it
games.
was Pitfall. I
Frogger,
remember.
Galaxy.
Yes,
all
yes.
those. Yeah.
I'm impressed
Over
that
your
you
head.
know all
Yeah,
those.
I had
No,
one of
that's
those,
Pitfall. I did forget about. I
was a
do
good
remember
one.
that. Yeah. All right, let's go to Tony.
How's it going there, Tony?
How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. So you got some answers to our trivia?
Yeah, and I know it's an opinion thing, but my favorite in town, I think, because I love the blues, is Anthony Rosano.
He is awesome. He is actually good friends with the guy I'm talking about, and actually has played gigs together with the guy I'm talking about. So, but yeah, he's fantastic. Not taking anything away from him, but he didn't do my intro music, so he's not my favorite. So, you got any questions about your house? Any problems on your house?
No, we're doing good right now. But,
Okay.
but I'll keep looking after you.
Yeah, definitely keep tuning in, man. Our goal is to help people with their houses. So,
Spread the word, buddy. Spread the word.
That's right. All right, let's go to Barry in Hampton.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, Barry in Hampton. How you doing?
All right. Pretty good. And you?
I am doing well.
All
What's
right.
your trivia question?
Yeah. Answered. Harry Lackey was one of the best. He was my teacher back in the late 50s and 60s. And I played with 3 or 4 bands after that, and I had to give up the music because it interfered with my bass. I played pro ball for a couple of years in the Reds organization, and it interfered with my baseball days.
Well,
So I kind of gave up music. But Harry Lackey was, I would say, the best. And another one was R.B. Sharp.
R.B. Sharp. I haven't heard of them. How old would they be?
Yeah.
How old would they be now?
Oh, well, Harry ended up having, he had several Martin guitars. He had a museum he opened up in Florida. but he was one of the best guitar teachers there was in the state of Virginia back
That's
then.
awesome. That's awesome.
You know how much a lesson was back then? $2.
I was going to say $2 to $5. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I think when I played guitar, it was it was like $15. I think my mom paid for having guitar lessons. She made me beg her to play guitar. I mean, for a year before she rented a guitar. She said, I want you to start it and then stop it, So she made me beg for a year and then rented a guitar for a year, and then I really liked it and kept playing it. But I am nowhere near talented as the guys that I am talking about. So our show's about houses. Do you have any issues or any funny stories about bad contractors?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Worley's, he's done several jobs for me, done excellent work. But there's a guy in there, Caden Marquez, young kid. He was voted the #1 guitarist at his age in the United States.
No kidding.
His name is Caden Marquez. Yeah, he plays in stuff.
No kidding.
And different plays with Bobby Black Hat and that group at the guy.
Wow.
He's
Wow.
amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, real quick break, and we'll be right back. It's now 6:23. We're here on 757 House Whisperer on Ask the Expert here on News Talk 790 WNIS. More info at 757housewhisperer.com. And we'll return after this.
I love the last part of that riff. I love the last part of that riff. It's I want to thank everybody for calling in and answering our trivia questions so daggone fast. You guys are smart tonight, or you just know the best rocker in the 757. So I made an easier one for you. We did have a few people text in some questions, so we do appreciate that. I want to remind you that you can do that at 757-955-9415. That's 955-9415. That's our main office for the 757 House Whisperer. That'll go directly to us, and you can call in, ask questions, or actually text if you want to get on the show. Text questions over to 955-9415. That is the 757 House Whisperer phone number. I want to remind you guys while we're here, we want to answer problems with your house. Any problems that you have in your house. Our range is basically New Kent to Wano area, which is kind of 804, but 757 is our area. That's where we're from. That's where we grew up at. That's most of us have been here all of our lives. I've been here since 6th grade, so that's most of my life. And but pretty much the Virginia line, North Carolina, Virginia line this way to Wano, up past a little bit into the Eastern Shore. But
We'll do your windows on the Eastern Shore.
okay, you can do that. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of our market area. We want you to call in any problems that you have with your home. Definitely call in and ask questions. We're here to answer your question. We're looking for somebody to stump Mike on Windows, stump me on heating and air. So call in, ask your questions, and remember, you are helping other people by asking your questions. So we have got. You want to take that call? Okay. Yeah. Let's. Looks like we got some more information about Marky Dunn.
Yeah, we've got Steve in North Carolina. Welcome, Steve.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Great.
They're doing well.
Yeah, my first experience with Mark Dunn was when he worked at ALN, right around the corner from my house, up there in Norfolk.
He did, yes.
And as far as Emily goes, I went to school with her. I don't know if you remember.
Oh,
but
really?
I would have
my sister.
With
yes.
her in '88.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I graduated in '87 from Norfolk Catholic, And she was in 88, and my sister, who passed away 9 years ago now with a blood clot, but she was 43, I think. And so, it was bad. So she was a freshman when I was a senior. So 87, so 88, 89, 90. So I think she graduated in 91 from Norfolk Catholic. So we are homegrown here. So, but yeah, Mark Dunn, I went to St. Pius with him.
Okay. Because we were all going to Norfolk Catholic at that time, but yeah, I definitely remember Mark working at the ALM, you know.
Dude's
and
a genius,
I lived up right there on Princess Anne Road, right there in the River Oak section. I mean, I was up there all the time.
The coolest thing about him is that he did not know how to read music. So after he started playing and beasting at the guitar, he had to go back in his 20s and 30s to learn how to play music. Read music. Isn't that crazy? In order to teach it, he had to go back and figure it out.
And we'll be right back right after the quick break right here on News Talk 790 WNIS with 757 House Whisper.
Looks like we got Horace on the line. Got a question about a driveway.
Hey, buddy, how old is your driveway?
The original part of it was 2014, and then I got a 22 by 20 extension in 2021.
And which part? I guess the 20 by 14 is the one with the rotting joints?
Well, no, the 22 by 20 is the new one. They did the recess cut release to keep it from cracking, but the original the 2014, which is the longer run of it, has the pressure treated wood joints, and most of the ones nearest to the house where like the gutters empty, the downspouts, they're all rotted.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, the pressure treated material that we got in 2014 was not the same pressure treated material we got in the 80s. They took arsenic out of it, and it's no longer as good a product. Moisture is the death of it, and rotting out really is quick to happen. There's really there's really not a way to change it unless you're just really lucky. You can scrape out some of there and be able to force some more down there. But what you can do is clean it out good, the expansion joints, and you can take a Baccarod, which is a product you use to help hold sealant in place, and get a good quality sealant that can be recommended by your local hardware supply type place, and fill those joints, let them set, and that's what they use in buildings, expansion joints they put in buildings. And that will keep the water from going into it, because you don't want water getting underneath the slab. It can cause more problems, lifting and what have you. But
I think it has in one area. There's a giant crack across one of the sections. Yeah. Is that evidence of that?
Yeah, the crack, is that in the old drive or the new drive?
The
crack.
Old drive.
Yeah.
Old drive.
When you a lot of times, guys, when they're doing driveways, the end of the job, and you got to have a good base underneath the driveway. And if you don't have a good base, the driveway is no better than what it sits on. And the 4-inch concrete, that is what normally driveways are, 4 to 5 inches. If it doesn't have a good base, the constant moving in and out over top of it, possibly moving in on top of it before it's had a good setting period to where it gets generate most of its strength, can cause premature cracking, and it may not show up for years. But the cracks are there from the beginning, and they just show up later. And you can't do anything about that. Just you can try sealing them some, but eventually they'll start opening up and give you a problem. And the only way to fix it is to replace it. When you replace it, make sure that the guy puts a good, substantial base under it, because remember, the driveway is no better than the base it sits on. Hope that helps.
It's just like a house foundation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's no better than the house that it's built on. Sorry about that situation. Did you have any other questions?
No, that was just the one about the rotting wood joints in the driveway.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So
I want to do a trivia question put out there. Vinyl windows have
Thank
been
you, Horace.
thank you, buddy. Vinyl windows been in the market for a long time, and I'm going to do a two-part question, but I only give you the first part first. And the first part of the question is, where was the first place vinyl windows were made? I'm talking about a country. Where was that country? And if you want to call in, if you got an answer for that, I know a lot of you guys out there on Google search.
GTS, Google that stuff.
Yeah,
no cheating.
Right. That's right. But it would be an interesting thing, and then we're going to have another question about the same thing. Go ahead and hit it, Chuck.
All right. I think we got Chuck wants to talk to Chuck about attic encapsulations and leaks around the vent. So what do we got, Chuck?
Hey, I'm on the air.
You are on the air, and you got a great name. You got a great name. That's easy to remember for me.
It's the Chuck and Chuck show now.
Yeah, I don't have a great memory, so it's great to talk to somebody I won't forget your name.
Yes, sir. It's been a good show so far, and I want to tell you, I look forward to Wednesdays to hear the House Whisperer show. I learn a lot.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. That's it was a lot putting all this together, and it is nice to be appreciated because we really do think that we can help a lot of people in this area, so in the 757.
So my question is, I am also a contractor, so I'm trying to figure something out for one of my customers.
Okay.
And he had his attic encapsulated, and now they didn't remove the roof vents, and now it's leaking around the roof vents. And I theorize that maybe, when the attic was open, there was always pressure coming out of the vents. So that's why it didn't drain inside the vents. But now that it's encapsulated, those vents are still up there. It's my theory is that now that there's no pressure coming out of it, wind-driven rain is getting in there. Does that make sense?
Okay, so just so I answer the question properly, I want to make sure that I understand the question. So when you're saying vents, so are you talking about the ridge vent? Are you talking about bath vents? What exactly are you talking about?
This particular home does not have ridge vents. It has the 8x8, we call them gravity vents, and it also has a power attic fan. Of course, now the attic is encapsulated, so none of that is needed.
Well, the question is, how is it encapsulated? Was it spray foamed on the back of the roof, on back of the shingles, back? You know what I mean, back of the plywood.
No, I think it was in the attic.
Okay, so when you say it's encapsulated, you're saying that the back of the shingles, the back of the plywood is spray foamed when you say it's encapsulated?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
All right. So there should not be any vents. The vents are, it defeats the purpose. You got two. Okay. So building science, right? So it defeats the purpose of having vents in your attic if you're spray foam it. You're stopping the heat from getting into your attic, so why do you need vents? There should be zero vents.
The vents were pre-existing before.
They should have been covered. They should have been taken out and covered.
Okay.
That's why they're sweating. It's called math. When hot touches cold, cool, it hits dew point, right? So whoever did it should have spray foamed either right over top of the vents. Me personally, I would have sealed them, took them out. I did. I don't. Go ahead.
They're sealed on the inside, but they're still existing on the roof. So now they're a source of a leak.
Which again, what I said was taking them out. That's what I would have done because they're sheet metal, right? They're probably not plastic. Or are they plastic? Are they metal?
There's a soft metal.
Yeah. So somewhere we're hitting dew point where cold air and hot air are touching, and that's just going to cause sweat or condensation or whatever. The only way really to get rid of that would be to remove which is going to be a witch with a capital B. I mean, that's not going to be an easy thing. I would personally take them out because there's no purpose for them anymore, right? You're not venting anything anymore. So the science is when you spray foam the back of the roof vent, you're stopping the heat from actually getting in. You're reflecting the heat. You're not allowing the heat to get into the to the attic space. So the soffit vents and all that stuff is unnecessary. In fact, they need to be stopped up too. So, because you don't want hot air sneaking into your attic through the soffit. So the soffits actually have to be sealed too. I've seen one where they spray foam the roof deck, which again, I'm not saying it's a bad job to do that. It is very, very efficient. I have done it on several jobs. It's not the cheapest way to do it, but it is definitely a expensive way to make your house more energy efficient. But we had a guy that had the spray foam on the front and back of the roof, and the side vents. What do you call the
attic gable vents?
Gable vents. The two gable vents. He did not spray foam those two walls. So, yeah. So he's got condensation. He's got hot air seeping in. Now the moisture is getting trapped because it can't get out. Right. So. Anyway, thank goodness the contractor did come back after being educated by, we helped him do the mathematics in this, and he ended up going back and spray foaming the gable vents and got it to where we were keeping the heat out of the attic. So the natural vent, just like I said, our goal here is to educate homeowners on their houses. The natural ventilation of a house is you have soffit vents, which if you go out your front porch and you look straight up, you'll see a gap or holes or circles or a strip and a metal or plastic opening, looks like a grill or a register or a vent that is allowing hot air to, I know it's 100 degrees outside, it's allowing air to get in to the attic space. And what happens is you have typically a ridge vent if the roof is done right and done by Pyramid Roofing. The ridge vent is across the entire roof, from one end to the other. So what happens is when air comes into those soffit vents and goes up the back of the shingles, even though it's a hot, humid, 100-degree air, it's cooling down the back of the shingles, which is saving your shingles. I have seen, and I'm sure Mike has seen, I know Pyramid and Justin has seen, where they'll have a vent every 8 foot. Yeah. So every 8 foot, you'll see great-looking shingles, and in the middle of the 8-foot vents, you'll see all this crusted up shingles, right? Because the ventilation is not, you only have that one small, that's why I like the strip, like goes from one end of the house to the other. Hopefully you guys can explain this.
Yeah, there's a calculation that's used, building officials do today, and you have high-low ventilation, and it talks about how many square feet of ventilation you have to have high and low to ventilate the attic properly, because not only is it the hot air, but it's the moisture that can be in there. And if you don't have the proper ventilation, that moisture is drawn up against the back of the plywood because it's the heat that's built up on the back of the roof. So when you get a new home, that high-low venting is important. A lot of the old homes, if you're having replacement work done, having wrap done, a lot of times they cut, if you're a guy doing the new siding and the wrap and everything, he'll cut strips opened into there, and then he'll put ventilated soffit up over under your eave, so you can get that high-low ventilation going on, because if you don't have that, you can end up with a problem.
Well, you're going to burn up your shingles. It's going to be 175 degrees in your attic. Yeah. Your air conditioning ductwork's going to start condensing up in your attic. It's going to start sweating, mold, and then mildew. We all have told you, moisture is the death of a house, right? Yep. So we want to keep moisture out of your house. I did want to talk about another job that we had just dealt with, a phone call. I had somebody call me, and we were talking about his dryer vent was sweating in his house. And I'm sitting here talking to him. He's like, man, it's never done this before or whatever. So we're sitting here talking about, so why is the dryer vent sweating? So doing a little bit more research, right? Talking through this. I said, what is the dryer doing? Well, it's actually doing its job. It's drying your clothes, which is pulling what out of the clothes? Moisture, right? It's pulling water, it's pulling moisture, it's drying your clothes. So that moisture has to go where? Not in your clothes, right? Mm-hmm. So it has to get it to the outside of your house, because you don't want to dump that moisture into your attic. you don't want to dump it into your, God forbid, you dump the moisture into your crawl space in the middle of the summertime. So we were talking. I said, look, it's doing its job. It's pulling moisture out. But the fact that it's sweating, I said, tell me more about your house. He's like, well, I am doing this addition off the back of my house. And I was like, oh, well, what's that look like? Well, it doesn't look like anything but 2x4s. So what's happening? It's 30 degrees, not like today. It's a beautiful day today. It's 30 degrees outside, and his dryer vent is sweating. So what's happening, Mike? It's in condensation. Yeah, it's the hot, humid air. Actually, it was going through his attic. Oh, so it was all 2x4s. He had put an addition off the back of his house, about 10 foot, but it's 30 degrees outside. So he's got this hot, humid, sweaty, dryer duct going through this new addition with zero insulation. So he was afraid to put up sheetrock and insulation because the dryer vent was leaking or sweating. And I'm like, bro, if you just insulate it, not the dryer duct, if you just insulate your house and get it so it's not 32 degrees in your addition, it's not going to sweat anymore. I promise. The math will work itself out. It is not going to sweat anymore because he's like, man, I don't want the contractor to finish, insulating and putting the sheetrock up and then it's sweating in my new addition. I said, no, your new addition is actually causing the problem. Yep. So no fear. So if you're doing an addition and you're drying your clothes and it's sweating, do not panic. It is just math doing its thing.
We had a guy that called in that evidently had to disconnect for a while. He had a window question. If you want to call back in, give us a call. I'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, and I believe Chris out has a correction for us on the first console. So I am going to have to correct my question to make my answer right. What was the most popular, first and most popular gaming system on TV? So then my answer would be right. Atari, right? Because everybody's heard of Atari. Yeah, Atari. But he came back, and then Mike looked it up in 1972. What was it?
Magnavox.
Magnavox, which, can anybody name a game on Magnavox?
Yeah, well, I can tell you the first one it was what I was saying. It was like a ping pong game, but it was called Pong. And
so Magnavox came out with the same thing as Atari?
Yeah, that's what I looked it up. Yeah.
Was that one on the bottom?
Yeah,
or the two sides?
It was two sides.
Okay, that's what I remember.
And then you like served the ball and it went across, and you tried to. It was like almost playing ping pong on TV. You turned a dial on your control and knocked it back, and then I think the game was to 21 points or something like that.
That's hysterical. Yeah, I have never heard of Magnavox, but I wasn't doing too much in 1972, so. You were graduated from college, weren't you?
Yeah, no, not quite. I was close.
You were probably going into college. Were you going to Tech in 73?
I was in my junior year. Yep.
What year did you graduate?
Yeah, 73.
Oh, I thought you graduated in 77. So, but yeah, hey, great show. Thank you for the questions calling in. We definitely appreciate it. We've got another text. On spray foam. So if your house is cold, the guy was asking about how do I make my house so energy efficient, and my always answer on making the house the most energy efficient you possibly can is always going to be spray foam. I'll tell you a story about my dad, who is 78.
He's older than
He is 78 in April, so a couple months he'll be 78. He's old Navy CB. He can fix anything. My dad was one of my heroes growing up. And so anyway, he was moving in. My mom passed away a couple of years ago, and we moved him into a 2-car garage. Well, my dad keeps it, 79, 80 degrees
way too warm
in the middle of the winter time. So I walk in there, and I just turn into a ball of sweat, right? So since I'm paying the utility bills, I let him move in with me to my 2-car garage. I fixed it up for him. I spent a little extra money and put spray foam on the walls and the ceiling and the attic, like we were just talking about with that other homeowner. I spray foamed that entire thing. My utility bills probably went up, less than $15 a month. And he has a 1.5 ton heat pump out there. It's 700 square. What's 25 times 25?
$625.
$625. I think that is right. So $625. Man, he had a little man cave out there, had a little kitchen, little bathroom out there. Everything's handicap accessible. So I hooked it up for him. But I spray foamed. The reason I spent the extra money on spray foam is because I didn't want to spend, since it's my house and my utility bills and I'm paying for them, I didn't want another $150 a month trying to keep my daddy warm at 79 degrees out in his 2-car garage. So I spray foamed everything, and that was the best decision I ever made. It was extremely efficient out there. Now, I'm just kidding about 79 degrees, but 74, 75 is definitely a real number. My man definitely keeps it warm. His excuse is blood thinners. But yeah, so if you're trying to keep your house more energy efficient, spray foaming it. We also use cellulose. We typically put in R50 cellulose. What we typically like to do is spray foam all around recessed can lights and drop ceilings and pull down staircases, and those are energy zappers. So we typically do a lot with spray foaming and sealing. The biggest thing is not adding more insulation. It's stopping the infiltration of air loss. So infiltration is the devil. Like, it just, when you let's say I cool your house and you buy this 21 SEER Mac Daddy system of the universe, and 60% of the air that you put into your house leaves through your recessed can lights and you just spent all that money on that brand new, beautiful, very expensive air conditioner, and then you're just allowing the energy to leave your house. So I always say, man, let's go mid-grade unit and then spray foam and seal and cellulose and keep the heat that we're putting in your house, or keep the air conditioning that's coming into your house, and let's make the whole house more energy efficient. It's a system.
Okay, guys, we're getting ready to wind this thing up for another Wednesday night. We'll be talking to you next week. Call us at Custom Vinyl Products, CVP Windows and Doors. We got the answers for whatever you need there.
Thank you, guys. 757housewhisperer.com, and then 757, I don't have it in front of me. Was it 955-9415? I don't call myself very much.
Yeah. No, you got that. 757-955-9415, and find us here next Wednesday from 6 to 7. But Chuck, thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate it, man. It was fun. It was fun.
Have a great week.
The preceding program was sponsored and paid for by Worley Home Services, who's entirely responsible for its content.